I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. The mystery surrounding the Bold and the Beautiful has begun to thicken once again, and at the center of it all is the unsettling possibility that Luna Nozzawa was never truly gone. With Miss Dillon now being harassed by an unseen force, suspicion has ignited among fans, many of whom are convinced that Luna is the one orchestrating this quiet terror from the shadows. After all, there was never a body, never a moment of undeniable closure, just a declaration of death that felt far too convenient to trust. This is a show that has rewritten fate before, where even confirmed deaths have unraveled into elaborate deceptions. When actors like Kimberlin Brown and Tanner Novlin gave emotional exit interviews for characters like Sheila Carter and Finn Finnegan, only for them to later reappear alive, it became clear that nothing is ever as final as it seems. And so the idea that Luna survived doesn't feel like a stretch. It feels like a setup. From the moment Dillon received that chilling phone call about unfinished business, the air shifted, heavy with implication and dread. If the voice belongs to someone from her past, there are only a handful of names that truly carry that kind of weight. Luna stands at the forefront, presumed dead after the hit and run that Dillon herself was later revealed to have caused. Others linger on the edges of suspicion. Ivy Forrester, perhaps, though her focus seems elsewhere, or even Luna's powerful grandmothers like Sheila Carter or Lee Finnegan, both capable of harboring secrets and vengeance. And yet, in a recent episode, Electra Forrester was seen leaving just as Dillon's phone rang, effectively ruling her out despite her own complicated history. The circle tightens, and all roads seem to lead back to Luna. To understand how Luna could still be alive, we have to return to that chaotic night in Malibu, where everything spiraled out of control. She had been running, desperate, hunted, by the LAPD and a web of familiar faces, including Taylor Hayes, Sheila, Deacon Sharp, and Lee, all converging in a tense chase through the darkness. Just hours before, Luna had crept into Will Spencer's home after lurking outside, driven by motives that were as obsessive as they were dangerous. Then came the crash, the flashing headlights, and the devastating report from Deputy Chief Baker that Luna had died. Later, the truth unraveled. Dillon had been behind the wheel, and her confession sent shockwaves through Will, Electra, Finn, and Steffi Forrester. But what if the truth didn't end there? What if the wrong body was identified that night? The answer may lie in a detail that once seemed trivial, but now feels deeply intentional. The outdoor shower at Will's beachside home. That night, a girl emerged from the shoreline and used the shower, leaving her clothes behind as she ran back toward the ocean in nothing but a bikini. It was a moment the show emphasized repeatedly, drawing attention to something that didn't seem important at the time. But now, in hindsight, it feels like a carefully planted clue. Luna, hiding nearby in the shadows, could have seized the opportunity, stealing the girl's clothes and discarding her prison uniform in the bushes. When the girl returned and found her clothes missing, she may have discovered the jumpsuit instead, choosing to wear it rather than remain exposed and soaked. In a cruel twist of fate, that decision may have sealed her doom. What if it was that girl, not Luna, who stepped into the path of Dillon's car? The chaos of the moment, the blinding headlights, the panic, it's easy to imagine Luna ducking back into the darkness as the other girl was struck. The body, disfigured beyond recognition, clothed in a prison uniform, would have led authorities to a tragic but mistaken conclusion. Similar hair, similar build, the right location, it all aligned just enough to pass as truth. And with that, Luna was declared dead, her story seemingly over. But in reality, she may have slipped away into the night, shaken but alive, watching as the world mourned someone else in her place. Behind the scenes, there's another layer to this possibility. Lisa Yamada, who portrays Luna, has been away from the show, reportedly working on an Amazon Prime Video series for several months. The timing aligns almost too perfectly with Luna's disappearance, opening the door for a dramatic return during May's sweeps. And if the show truly wants to push the boundaries of shock and drama, they could take it even further. Imagine Luna re-emerging not only alive but carrying Will's child, a secret she may not have even realized was still intact. Perhaps what she believed to be a miscarriage was nothing more than a false alarm, a cruel misinterpretation of her body's signals. If she returns with a visible pregnancy, the emotional fallout would be explosive, rewriting everything Will thought he knew. But survival alone isn't enough. Luna would have needed help to remain hidden all this time. Living off the grid, evading detection, and allowing the world to believe she was dead would require resources and loyalty from someone willing to risk everything. Sheila Carter is an obvious candidate, though her complicated relationship with Deacon may have initially kept her at a distance. Still, once Deacon betrayed her and their relationship collapsed, Sheila would have little reason to hold back. Her connection to Luna runs deep, and with nothing left tying her down, she could easily have stepped in to protect her granddaughter. Yet, the timeline suggests something else. Someone else may have been involved from the very beginning. That brings us to Remy Price, a figure whose presence has quietly grown more significant. The timing of his storyline aligns almost perfectly with Luna's disappearance, and his past connection to her hints at something deeper. In interviews, actor Christian Weissman teased that Remy shares a bond with another character, someone cut from the same cloth, someone tied to a secret he's been keeping. It's a description that fits Luna with eerie precision. Both have shown obsessive tendencies, both have crossed dangerous lines, and both understand what it means to be cast as the villain. It's not hard to imagine Luna finding her way to Remy after witnessing the accident, realizing the opportunity fate had handed her, and choosing to disappear. From there, a new alliance could have formed, one built on shared darkness and mutual survival. Remy, already familiar with deception and secrecy, would have little reason to turn her away. And as time passed, others might have joined their orbit. Sheila, drawn back in by both affection and chaos, could have completed the trio, forming a twisted, unconventional family bound by loss, betrayal, and a willingness to do whatever it takes to stay hidden. With Deacon gone, with their lives in ruins, they may have found comfort in each other's instability, creating a dangerous alliance that now operates just beneath the surface. And now, the signs are beginning to surface. The eerie phone calls, the sudden scares at Forrester Creations, the growing tension that seems to follow Dylan wherever she goes. It all points to something building in the shadows. Whether it's Luna alone or working alongside Remy and possibly Sheila, the truth feels closer than ever. Looking back at that night in Malibu, at the seemingly insignificant details about beachgoers and showers and a girl with long brown hair, it all starts to connect into something far more deliberate. What once felt like coincidence now feels like design, like a carefully constructed illusion waiting to be shattered. And as the story edges closer to its reveal, one thing becomes certain. If Luna Nozzawa is alive, her return won't just be shocking, it will be explosive. As the tension coils tighter, the atmosphere around the bold and the beautiful begins to feel charged with something almost inevitable. As though the truth has been patiently waiting for the perfect moment to break through the surface. Every strange occurrence, every shadowy hint, and every flicker of fear in Dylan's eyes seems to be building toward a single, unavoidable revelation. The pieces that once felt scattered now begin to align with unsettling clarity, forming a picture that is as thrilling as it is terrifying. If Luna truly survived that night, then everything that followed was not just coincidence. It was strategy, a carefully orchestrated disappearance designed to give her a second chance at rewriting her story. And now, months later, that story may be reaching its most explosive chapter yet, one that threatens to unravel the fragile piece everyone has been clinging to. For Dylan, the emotional weight of it all is beginning to press in from every direction, turning her world into a maze of paranoia and guilt. The memory of that night, the blinding headlights, the sickening impact, the horrifying realization has never truly left her, but now it feels more alive than ever, as if the past is refusing to stay buried. If the voice on the phone truly belongs to Luna, then Dylan isn't just dealing with a ghost from her past, she's facing the living consequence of a moment that changed everything. The idea that Luna may have watched from the shadows as the wrong person was declared dead adds a chilling layer of psychological torment, transforming what Dylan believed was a tragic accident into something far more haunting. It's no longer just about what happened that night. It's about what Luna has been planning ever since, and how long she's been waiting to strike. Meanwhile, the possibility of Luna's survival begins to ripple outward, threatening to upend the lives of everyone connected to her, especially Will Spencer. For Will, the past has already been a source of deep emotional conflict, but the idea that Luna could return, alive, and possibly carrying his child, would shatter whatever sense of closure he thought he had. It would force him to confront not only the trauma of what she did, but also the complicated reality of what remains between them. If Luna reappears with a child, it wouldn't just be a shocking twist, it would be a seismic shift, redefining relationships, loyalties, and the future itself. The emotional stakes would skyrocket, pulling everyone into a storm of confusion, anger, and impossible decisions that no one is truly prepared to face. And then there's Remy Price, whose quiet presence may soon explode into something far more significant. If he has been hiding Luna all this time, then every move he's made, every secret he's hinted at, suddenly takes on a much darker meaning. His connection to Luna, described as being cut from the same cloth, suggests a bond that goes beyond mere coincidence. It hints at a shared understanding of chaos, of obsession, of the kind of thinking that blurs the line between right and wrong. Together, they would form a dangerous partnership, one that thrives in the shadows and feeds on the very emotions that keep everyone else trapped in fear. And if Sheila Carter has indeed been drawn into their orbit, then what we're looking at isn't just a secret. It's a volatile alliance capable of unleashing absolute havoc. There's something almost poetic in a dark and twisted way about the idea of these three figures, Luna, Remy, and Sheila, coming together after losing everything that once grounded them. Each of them carries a history marked by betrayal, obsession, and a willingness to cross lines others wouldn't dare approach. In isolation, they are dangerous enough, but together, they could become something far more unpredictable. A force that operates outside the rules that everyone else is bound by. Their shared sense of abandonment and resentment could easily evolve into a collective mission, one driven not just by survival, but by a desire to reclaim power in the most dramatic way possible. And if Dylan is at the center of that mission, then she may be walking straight into a storm she never saw coming. As the days inch closer to what feels like an inevitable reveal, the tension becomes almost unbearable, like a ticking clock that no one can quite hear, but everyone can feel. The haunting phone calls, the sudden appearances, the growing sense that someone is always watching. It all points to a carefully constructed buildup, one that is designed to culminate in a moment of maximum impact. When the truth finally comes out, it won't just answer questions, it will raise even more, pulling every character into a web of consequences that stretches far beyond that single night in Malibu. And when Luna finally steps out of the shadows, if she does, it won't be as a victim or a memory, but as a force that has been silently shaping events from behind the scenes all along. Looking back, the clues were always there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to connect them. The emphasis on the beachside shower, the mysterious girl with long brown hair, the lack of a confirmed body, the suspicious timing of Lisa Yamada's absence, all of it now feels like part of a much larger design. What once seemed like small, forgettable details now carry the weight of something intentional, something crafted to mislead, just long enough for the truth to become even more shocking. And as the story moves forward, one thing becomes undeniably clear. This isn't just about whether Luna is alive. It's about what she's become in the time she's been gone, and what she's willing to do now that she's ready to be seen again. Because when the past refuses to stay buried, and the truth finally comes to light, it doesn't just change the story. It redefines it entirely. And just when it feels like the tension can stretch no further, the story begins to lean into something even more unsettling. An atmosphere thick with anticipation, where every silence feels deliberate and every shadow seems to be watching. In the world of the bold and the beautiful, revelations rarely arrive gently, and this one feels destined to explode with a force that ripples through every corner of the canvas. The closer Dylan gets to the truth, the more fragile her reality becomes, as if the ground beneath her is slowly giving way. There's a sense that she's being drawn into something carefully constructed, something that has been waiting patiently for her to step into its center. And if Luna is truly behind it all, then this isn't just revenge, it's a performance, one designed to make Dylan relive every second of that fateful night in the most haunting way possible. The psychological game at play feels almost suffocating, with each new clue acting less like a revelation and more like a deliberate breadcrumb, leading Dylan exactly where someone wants her to go. The phone calls, the sudden appearances, the feeling of being watched, it all carries the signature of someone who doesn't just want to be seen, but wants to control how and when they are discovered. If that someone is Luna, then her time in hiding hasn't weakened her, it's refined her, sharpened her into something far more calculated and dangerous than before. And that transformation raises an even darker question. What has she been doing all these months, and how far is she willing to go now that she's ready to step back into the light? For Will Spencer, the emotional stakes are quietly building toward a breaking point that feels almost inevitable. The possibility of Luna's return doesn't just reopen old wounds, it threatens to tear them wide open, exposing everything he's tried to bury. If she reappears, especially with the possibility of a child, it would force him into a confrontation with a past he never truly escaped. The weight of that reality would ripple outward, affecting not just him, but everyone connected to him, pulling them into a storm of emotions that no one can fully control. And in true soap fashion, the question wouldn't just be about what happened. It would be about what happens next, and who will be left standing when the dust finally settles. Meanwhile, the shadowy alliance that may have formed between Remy Price and Sheila Carter begins to feel less like a theory and more like an inevitability. If Luna has been hiding with Remy, then every secret he's been guarding takes on a new level of urgency, transforming him from a peripheral player into a central architect of the chaos that's unfolding. And if Sheila has joined them, then the situation escalates into something far more volatile. Because Sheila doesn't just participate in chaos, she thrives in it. The idea of the three of them operating together, bound by shared instincts and a mutual understanding of how to manipulate the world around them, creates a dynamic that is both fascinating and deeply dangerous. It's not just a partnership. It's a powder keg waiting for the right spark. What makes this all the more compelling is the emotional symmetry that begins to emerge, as each character finds themselves facing the consequences of choices they thought were long behind them. Dylan is forced to confront the possibility that her worst mistake didn't end in tragedy, but in transformation. Will must grapple with the idea that his past is not only alive, but evolving in ways he never anticipated. And Luna, if she truly returns, steps back into the story, not as the desperate, hunted figure she once was, but as someone who has had time to think, to plan, and to become something far more formidable. That shift changes everything, turning what could have been a simple return into a full-scale reckoning. And then comes the moment that feels almost inevitable, the reveal. It may arrive in a place as familiar as Forrester Creations, where the walls have witnessed countless confrontations, or it could unfold in a more intimate setting, where the emotional impact cuts even deeper. Dylan, already on edge, hears something, a sound, a voice, a presence, and for a split second, time seems to stand still. The fear that has been building inside her finally reaches the surface, and when she turns to face it, the truth is no longer something she can run from. Whether it's a shadow stepping into the light, a voice speaking from just behind her, or a face she thought she'd never see again, the effect is the same. It shatters everything. If that face belongs to Luna, then her return won't just answer the question of whether she survived, it will redefine the entire narrative moving forward. Because her survival isn't just a twist, it's a catalyst, one that sets off a chain reaction of consequences that will touch every character in ways they can't yet imagine. The secrets that have been hidden will begin to surface, alliances will be tested, and the lines between victim and villain will blur in ways that make it impossible to predict what comes next. And in the end, that's what makes this story so compelling. Not just the mystery of what happened, but the uncertainty of what will happen when the truth finally comes to light. Because in this world, the past never truly stays buried. It waits, it watches, and when the moment is right, it comes back. Not quietly, but with the force that changes everything.